On January 11th, 2020, I have a very unique perspective on that incident because I was the lieutenant on Engine 4 and we were in a blocking position on the interstate for Engine 2. So when that secondary wreck happened, we witnessed the whole thing. I was able to take command of the incident, and then we rendered aid to those involved. And as you know, we lost Lieutenant Eric Hill, Officer Reyna, and Matt Dawson from that. So following that, the fire department, we wanted to learn from that incident and move the department forward and try to keep an incident like that from happening again in the future. So that's where the Traffic Safety Committee was born from. So the three main components of that committee that we identified was the PPE we were wearing on our roadway incidents, the response packages that we had at the time, and how we needed to change them to better mitigate roadway incidents. And then lastly, we wanted to implement a dedicated blocker program to not only protect our personnel, but our apparatus.
So the traditional firefighting helmet is really iconic. You know, the youngest of kids can recognize that helmet as a firefighter helmet. Firefighters tend to love that helmet, myself included. And while it may be okay helmet for firefighting and wearing in parades, it's definitely not the right helmet to be wearing for other type of calls like roadway incidents or special rescue calls. There's definitely better helmets out there, and that's what I started looking at. Yeah, so to compare and contrast the traditional firefighting helmet to the roadway helmet, the traditional firefighting helmet has a webbing suspension system in it, so that provides really good top-down impact protection, but virtually zero side impact protection. So what we need on our head when we work on the roadway is a helmet with foam on the inside of it, just like a skateboarding helmet, a motorcycle helmet, and those helmets can provide protection to all sides of the head, and that's what we need when we work on the roadway. Yeah, and I feel really fortunate, you know, in the months after that incident on January 11th, I proposed this new helmet type, this roadway helmet, to the Lubbock Fire Administration, and, you know, them being, you know, progressive as far as safety in the roadway matters, they decided to adopt that helmet, and so every member at Lubbock Fire Rescue has a roadway helmet now. But as you mentioned, other departments are starting to also adopt this. There's departments in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, you know, there's EMS agencies wearing it, and so it's, you know, starting to get some traction and adoption nationwide.
One of the biggest major takeaways was we didn't have a big enough presence on the highway. We didn't have enough apparatuses out there to provide that advanced warning for the public. And that's something that stood out once we got to doing our research and checking with other departments. That stood out that we need to have a bigger presence on these roadways. So really there's three packages. The first one is just your residential roadway. You're just gonna get one engine on that. Most of the time these are under 30-mile-an-hour roadways. Usually an engine can take care of this, or a parking lot accident. Next, you jump into your major thoroughfares. And this could be like, for example, 50th, Quaker, Slide, Milwaukee, Frankfurt, roadways like that. You're gonna get 2 apparatus dispatch. And our last package is our high-speed roadways package. And you're gonna get 3 apparatuses in this. And this is gonna be our interstate, I-27, our loop, and our Marcia Sharp, for example. Those type of highways are going to get that response package. We like to use the term, we need to get more metal in between us and the public, you know, and this is a great way to do it. And also this is a great way to make our roadway safer for our public, for our citizens, because it provides what we call advanced warning further from the wreck, gives them time to see what's going on. They identify there's something going on in front of them, emergency scene, and the way we position the apparatus is either block left or block right. It should provide an indication where we would like the public to go, whether it's to the right lane or to the inside lane. But it's just safer overall. And it puts more, like we said, more metal in between us and the drivers.
So the blocker program, like I said, utilizes a retired engine. We've outfitted it with new LED lighting, a signboard that you can display messages, and the whole goal of this is to place that furthest upstream of the incident and actually direct drivers where we want them to go and give them pre-warning that there is an accident ahead. Yes, we ordered all the equipment. We utilized our shop personnel, our traffic safety personnel, and we actually outfitted the engine so there was no outside cost. With this being a reserve engine that's being retired, there was no cost for the apparatus itself. The only cost for it was the equipment we added to it. So for the citizens and our personnel, I mean, the cost was negligible. And the potential benefit is if it does its job even one time and protects one of our multi-million-dollar apparatus, or better yet, save our personnel, I don't see that you can put a price on that. One thing that we have to continually do is train. And one thing that we are doing this week is we're having all personnel come through for traffic incident management refresher training, and really just taking the time to highlight the roadway safety strategies that we all need to be mindful of. And we've got tabletop maps with 3D printed cars to scale, so we can actually utilize Lubbock roadways and actually talk through these situations on how we can best keep our personnel and the citizens of Lubbock safe. We worked with our city GIS department and our dispatch center, and we analyzed the data, and we were able to develop a heat map of all the high-speed roadway responses. And the south and southwest loop of Lubbock is where the majority of our high-speed roadway responses were. So Station 17's located in a good area to access that area as well as the interstate. So we felt that that would be the most useful place for this first blocker. So I think it's just the nature of our job. The hazards that we face, we have to learn from them. And, on a daily basis, we have very unique situations. And if we do not learn from them, then they're bound to repeat themselves in the future. So I think from this committee, we saw that this was a very large need for our department to learn from this, and also to pay it forward to our brothers who gave their lives that day, and their families, and all of our families, that we try to not let this happen again.